Avec l'adrogui غد مع القرات ميار مودر نغتني سبايدر الالسيلس تقوبت سلسلة غاني سجل الساينينج لا MOU لا دلون لا بيلاو مع أستراليا سلقون بالي لا Australian Broadcasting Company ما دير قلنا البيلاو أول بولساينا MOU المصاب إذا لو راي لا قوق content لا ABC Corporation so الويسي التايم غذا مع القرا عن تنقل المينستير international development defense industry niya honorable Pat Conroy yak dirqal mla invite ra Kambes Kesolei niya prestigious reporter abul Belau gukmay ul nga sergi del qura interview tamal dimre del interview lendi momrek and then niya moringi sel signing ceremony so malungil el sils el mura Kambes Kesolei and a good day to Minister Honorable Pat Conroy. Thank you for joining us. We're happy to have you here.
Good day back to you. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah, we're so excited. And how was the trip over to Belau? How was the flight?
It was very smooth. I was on the Brisbane to Belau Air New Guinea flight, and it was great. It was really good, and importantly, there was a few tourists on the plane, so that was good, and a few representatives from other Pacific nations going to a conference here for Reserve Bank. So it was really good to see that connection happening and growing.
All right, that's great. So you are the Minister for International Development and the Pacific. So could you kind of describe us what you or what the current relationship is between Palau and Australia?
Well, I think the current relationship between Palau and Australia is strong, and it's only getting stronger. I think we've had an ambassador on the ground since 2019. We've had diplomatic relations for 29 years, but an ambassador permanently based here since 2019. And with President Whipps Jr. This morning, I toured the new embassy that has been open for a few months, so that the people of Palau and visiting Australians can come and visit. I think the relationship is strong, and we're working together on very many shared interests, whether it's protecting the Pacific from illegal fishing, or fighting the scourge of climate change, or dealing with issues of commonality. I think the relationship is really strong and only getting deeper.
Great. And we're also here with one of our prestigious reporters from Belau, Kambes Kesolei. He might have questions as well for you.
Thank you, Randy. Thank you, Minister, for this opportunity to be able to ask you some of these questions. My first question to you is last week, Palau and the United States held their first annual bilateral economic consultation meeting, which is required under the Compact of the Association, the relationship between Palau and the United States. And at the meeting, Palau expressed interest in joining the Blue Dot Network for infrastructure certification. And it is my understanding that Australia is part of the program and very supportive of the program, as well as Japan and other countries. So what do you think? So since Palau has expressed interest in joining the network, what do you think about Palau becoming part of the Blue Dot Network?
Well, Palau's already participating as part. There's a pilot project looking at the Palau Cable 2 project. The Blue Dot Network is all about making sure that we've got the highest quality infrastructure in the Pacific. Too often, unfortunately, development partners haven't worked effectively with governments to make sure that we've got the best infrastructure that is built to survive climates, whether it's typhoons up here or cyclones below the equator, and involves skills transfer, involves appropriate use of local labour. So the Blue Dot Network is about having a certification of the highest quality infrastructure, and a pilot project is right now happening with Palau, and I'd be keen to see Palau even more involved. We've partnered on some really good infrastructure, including the Belau Solar Project, which I'll be visiting with President Whipps shortly, and we'll be cutting the ribbon on the spur for the cable project a bit later today. So I think there's great opportunities for us to work together on infrastructure to really increase economic growth and development in Palau.
Thank you, Minister. Now, my next question is, this is also a very, it's a dominating issue in the region as well as locally. And last week, Palau President Surangan Lubis Jr. was in Japan. And in Japan, he voiced his support of Japan's plan to release over 1 million tons of treated water from the nuclear plant from Fukushima into the Pacific Ocean. So, and there is still a lot of Pacific Island countries as well as civil society organizations opposed to the plan. So, I would like to get your thoughts or your position on this matter.
Yeah, well, Australia's position is quite common or consistent with a lot of Pacific countries, which is any release of water has to be guided by the best scientific principles and research. And that's why we were really happy that Japan requested that the International Atomic Energy Agency come in and be part of the process and oversee it. And they've stood up a team and they're providing scientific oversight. And it's really important also that Japan consults with Pacific countries about this, and they're doing that as well. So overall, Australia's position is as long as the best scientific principles are being followed, we're broadly comfortable with what's happening. And we've seen a level of consultation from Japan that, quite frankly, other countries don't do. And hence, the visit by President Whips Jr. was very important last week.
Okay. Thank you so much, Minister.
All right. Well, you kind of mentioned a little bit about Palau and Australia's relationship being strong. Lastly, how would you develop that relationship? How would we continue to strengthen that relationship between Australia and I know Palau supports Australia in a lot of things, some controversial, but how do you think we can develop that relationship?
Well, we're both proud members of the Pacific family, and we both play, I hope it's perceived as good, positive roles in the Pacific Islands Forum, and the government of Palau has been really instrumental in supporting unity in the Pacific, implementing and driving the Suva Agreement, and I think we can work closely together to improve infrastructure in Palau, to look at economic diversification, to improve tourism links and improve connectivity. If you think about two projects that I've been involved in the last few days. I flew up on the Brisbane to Palau connector, which the Government of Australia is supporting to improve aviation connection between the two countries, and I'm helping cut the ribbon with President Whips on the Palau spur cable to improve your data connections with the rest of the world. And they're two ways we can work together to improve connectivity, and both being strong voices in the Pacific Islands Forum and both arguing consistently for an open, prosperous and stable Pacific that is master of its own destiny. The Pacific Island Forum leaders resolved last year that Pacific security should be driven by members of the Pacific family, and that's certainly something that we're very keen to work on together.
All right. Thank you so much, Minister, for joining us for this short interview. When we come back, we're going to be going into the signing ceremony between Australian Broadcasting Corporation and Eco Paradise FM. So thank you guys for joining us, and don't go anywhere just yet. Okay, we'll be right back.